Hey, it's so great to be here speaking to you wherever you are watching from and whatever the day of the week it is. Man, isn't it strange times that we are in? It's strange times. But I'm secretly actually pretty excited about this year. We are going to go on a journey these next 5 months. We're going to go on a journey. We're going to go on a journey of facing some villains and establishing some new values. Are you ready for that? Some of you may be wondering, what are you talking about? Well, many of you will know that at the start of the new academic year in September, we do this series called the Found Core Values series. We as a group, a youth group, as a youth team, we want to embody these 5 values. We believe that they reflect the heart of God and His heart for us. Some of you have been through this series 2 times now, so you'll actually, you'll be able to recite these values, every single one. So that's fine. But some of you are probably watching for the first time and don't really have a clue what I'm talking about. Well, we have 5 values, and conveniently they spell out the name Found, and they are free, original, unashamed, nourished, and devoted. And we're gonna spend some time the next 5 months exploring these values, like really exploring them. But it's gonna look a bit different this year. As many of you know, we're not gonna be meeting as normal all together in the coffee house, but we're gonna be doing it a little bit differently. We're gonna be meeting in groups and having one-on-one conversations, and that's how it's gonna look. But I'm gonna be joined here, right here, by some incredible guests, some incredible friends who are going to share on these specific core values. And they're also going to share on the villains, the things that try and come against us when we embrace that value. Let me give you an example. The first core value is freedom. Say freedom. And the villain that is trying to stop you from stepping into this value of freedom is lies. So I'm going to be joined here by Kara Smith, the wonderful Kara Smith, and she's going to be sharing a bit about freedom and how she has learned to overcome the villain of lies. And I think it's going to be powerful for all of us to learn about. And in the next month, we'll be talking about another value. But before we go into that, I just wanted to share for a few minutes. You might be watching this now and you're thinking, what is that you're talking about when you say core values? What do you mean when you say that? Well, I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes or so just sharing with you about what core values are and why they're important. And then I'm going to leave you with a few thoughts. Does that sound good? So, I want to talk about values in 2 ways. Number 1 is fruit. Say fruit. Imagine a pear on a tree. Values determine fruit. Values determine fruit. And number 2 is lenses. Say lenses. And imagine me with a really cool pair of sunglasses on, right? Values determine what you see. So first of all, let me talk about fruit. I've got these pear trees in my garden, these 2 pear trees. And they're ripe right now, and the pears are all over the floor. But every year, those trees, funnily enough, produce pears, right? They don't have to think about it; they just produce them. An apple tree just produces apples. See, values are the same. Values define the fruit that you will produce from your life, and sometimes even without you knowing it. Sometimes there's fruit that's coming from your life and you don't even know where it's coming from. Maybe you're thinking now and you're wondering what I'm talking about when I say fruit. You're wondering if there's going to be an apple popping out your arm or a pear popping out your leg. This is. Let me try and explain this way. I had a friend, I do have a friend who told me about how he used to have a terrible memory. And people would always say, maybe you've said this as well. He would say to himself, "I've got a rubbish memory," and he would tell people, "My memory's terrible," and it was, right? But one day, he met Jesus and he was in relationship with God and his memory was still terrible. And he realized how he would always say to himself, I've got rubbish memory. So he just decided, I'm not going to say that anymore. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Because you're like, well, he did have a bad memory. Well, he decided, I'm going to need to declare a new truth if I want to see some new fruit. Say that again. I'm going to need to declare a new truth if I want to see new fruit. So he started saying, he would catch himself when he wanted to say, I've got a bad memory. And he would say, my memory's awesome, right? Funny, eh? And his memory improved. He got an amazing, incredible memory. And he would say to me now that it's not quite, but he would say it's almost like a photographic memory. Like he's got an amazing memory. What I want you to tell you is sometimes, and here's a tricky thing, sometimes the values and the beliefs that God has called us to embody don't line up with our experience and the things that happen around us. Let me explain that. Sometimes I remember, feeling like I was stupid, feeling like in school I was stupid. And my parents would say, don't say you're stupid. People would say, don't say you're stupid. Don't say you can't read. Don't say that. I'm like, well, I can't. Like, I failed that test last week. Like, that proves it, right? But here's the thing. Sometimes our experience doesn't actually define what is true about us. Our experience in life, our past, the situations that we've been through aren't actually indicators of what truth is. So sometimes we have to start believing new things to see new fruit. Are you with me? If you believe that God is angry with you, then the fruit that comes from your life will reflect that value. If you believe God is generous, if you have a value for generosity, you will see generosity around you. You'll be generous. You won't hold on to things tightly. Okay. Values produce fruit. Number 2 is a lens. I have these sunglasses and they have an orange tint. And my friend Phil Mashida, who's a youth worker with us, he's awesome. He has these blue glasses, right? Here's the thing. You might have a pair of sunglasses as well. When you're wearing a pair of sunglasses, whatever color they are, that is the tint. That is the way that you see everything around you. Everything looks awesome when I've got my sunglasses on. Everything looks orange. Everything looks orange when I've got my sunglasses on, right? And it's the same with values. Your values, right, they determine how you see the world. They determine how you see circumstances. They determine how you see God. They determine how you see yourselves. So if you have a value or a belief that you are insignificant, the way you see life will reaffirm that value. Oh, that person didn't sit next to me at school because I'm insignificant. That person ignored me. They didn't reply to my text because I'm insignificant. I'm not good enough. If you have a value that says, I am worthy of love, your lens for life, your lens will reflect that value. That's the way you'll see situations, right? Your values determine the way that you see the world. They determine it, right? If you have a value for freedom, your lens for the world will be free. You'll see freedom. You'll expect people to be free around you. You'll see situations and you'll see freedom. Values produce fruit and they affect the way that you see the world. So they're important. Everyone has values, just some values are producing bad fruit and bad lenses, and some values are producing good fruit and are good lenses. And we want to have good fruit and good lenses, right? Lenses that reflect the heart of God, fruit that reflects the heart of God. So we're going to go on this journey, right? The next few weeks.